Scorpio friends, and welcome to your horoscope for December of 2022, where Scorpio this month we get to explore the bookend that we were talking about in the annual 2022 horoscopes, in the January horoscopes, where we talked about how we're going to start the year with a very Capricorn signature. And now as we're ending the year as well, we're back to that same Capricorn signature, and we will carry it in through January of 2023. So this is a big time to see what has changed, what has shifted for you, what contracts have you changed, what learning style, how has your mind changed. These are big, significant moments for you to be paying attention to. Not necessarily because the world has changed so significantly, but your world has changed significantly in these particular signatures. So this month we are definitely going to examine what was going on in January of 2022 that now you have revalued, you've re-looked at, maybe things have come to culmination, and almost a sense for you, Scorpio, that you have unburdened yourself in some way and made space to be efficient, effective, and achieve in a different way as we're closing out this year. Now, we're also going to see Neptune coming out of retrograde, Mercury moving into retrograde. So plenty going on, Scorpio. Let's get in here and talk about what that is. So right at the beginning of the month, we've got Neptune coming out of retrograde, so coming direct at 22 degrees of Pisces. Now for you, this lights up this fifth house space. So first of all, when Neptune is direct, what we have is this sense of vision. It's the dream. It's an ideal that we have for ourselves. So we're creating in this energy. So in the fifth house for you, it could have been, your romantic life could have gotten differently, or your love of life could have definitely gotten a bit different. But there's also this kind of idealization of the people around us. We're not really seeing them for what they really are, what they can really offer to us, or how we're really engaging it. So there's some level of illusion that's there, but it's like wonderful, and it's creative and it's confident. It's a really delicious kind of energy. But then what happens is that Neptune goes retrograde as it did in June, and instead of having this intangible vision kind of energy, everything becomes concrete really quickly. So in your fifth house, which is self-expression, how you express yourself, right? How you explain what you do, how you share your story, share your magic with us. This became very concrete, and it's like, okay, well, hold on. You maybe had an idea or an ideal about how and who you were and what you were allowed to express, and now it got really concrete, and you find out, I don't believe that anymore. I believe something else in how I'm allowed to express myself. With children and things around children in your life, things got really concrete. It's like, yeah, this is not going to be, I was seeing this through a completely different lens, and it's maybe not going to be that way anymore. So you start to get very concrete, like the veil is lifted, information in this area. So as Neptune is direct now you can create a new vision, a new ideal based on not having those rose-colored glasses on anymore, right? You're working from a position that's a little bit more true. And so you can craft and create another intangible vision and move towards it. Now, I want to say it's really important to have intangible visions, the dream, the fantasy, the mystery that's happening here. Because before we bring it into a material reality, it has to exist here. So I don't hear what I'm not saying. It is very, very good to have that mystery, magical world that moves in between that you can't touch. You can just vision. We really absolutely need that. Now, when we get to the 6th, we're going to see Mercury move into the energy of Capricorn. So this starts to light up this third house signature that we were working with in January of 2022. What was going on for you in your third house? This is communication, thinking, learning, teaching, writing that book, contracts or negotiations that you were maybe a part of for a very long time. It's Capricorn. There's been some long-term investment in some way that you were thinking, or something that you were learning, or something that you've been engaged in. So what were you revaluing, or what was making its way to a transition or to an end? Was it a relationship? Was it something financial in this particular area of your life? Your self-esteem is a big one. Now, as Mercury is back into this Capricorn signature, you get focused on what you need to have and what decisions you need to make in this third house area to be able to achieve, right? This is a cardinal earth energy, which means it's a great time for you to focus on what you need to start in order to move forward in a material way to survive, to thrive, and to be successful. But it's also going to require that you take on some responsibility or obligation that goes with it to come out. Because remember, the third house is also how you're communicating, how you're speaking, what you're speaking, taking responsibility for how and what you're speaking as well. Now, when we get to the 12th, we are going to see Mercury move into its pre-retrograde shadow time position. What that means is that at 8 degrees of Capricorn, please locate that on your chart, you're going to start to focus on the lessons that present themselves in this third house arena. Because during Mercury's retrograde, you're going to work on focusing on making those decisions, bringing those loose ends to a close, or changing direction in that particular area of your third house. Between 24 degrees of Capricorn and 8 degrees of Capricorn is where this lesson base is at. On the 7th, we've got a full moon happening at 16 degrees of Gemini. So this full moon is going to ask you to end something, acknowledge something, or make an adjustment. And again, it's interesting. This is in a value house. It's in the 8th house of intimacy, sex, joint resources. That includes negotiations for financial things, right? A loan, child support, anything that you are connected to in that way. But it's also collaborations. So there could be some endings, some acknowledgments, or some adjustments to collaborations. Now, what I will tell you as a thing to just keep your eye on is that while we've got the full moon happening in Gemini, and it can be emotional, it can bring emotional things to an end or to the surface as well, Mars is retrograde in Gemini as well. So whatever you are trying to end, acknowledge, or adjust might happen quite slowly, and you need to give yourself some grace and some time for that to happen. Because with Mars retrograde, the action of moving something forward is going very, very slowly, if not at all. Really, it's mostly about cleaning up, finishing, and adjusting strategy around things from the past, right? Give your energy, go where the energy is at, Scorpio, and really keep that in mind. But I also think that it is a great energy for you to consider, again, your communication and how big that Capricorn signature is for you this month, that in the 8th house of your passions and your fears, your astrology, your vulnerability, that you're really picking a different strategy to be able to express yourself in even that third house energy as well. Now, when we get to the 9th, we see Venus move into the energy of Capricorn. So now Venus is an attracting in energy. It's not pushing, forcing, fighting. It is simply calling in. So with Venus here in the energy of Capricorn, truly, are you calling in something of value? Are you calling in a valuable relationship? Are you calling in financial benefit from something that you're speaking? From something that you're sharing, for something that you're communicating, you're offering your talent out in some way, and that is calling in a benefit to you. Are you able to use your voice or your words or your communication style in some way to smooth things between you and a sibling, or to smooth things with you and a negotiation that has to happen? Whatever this is, Venus is bringing in a lot of harmony, a lot of beauty, and a lot of value into this signature. So funny enough, we still again want to flash back to January of 2022. Venus was retrograde in Capricorn. You were reviewing this area, getting it ready to be what it needed to be next, a relationship, a financial agreement. Your self-esteem in some way was going to be ending, and this seems to be a point of culmination. Now on the 20th, we see Jupiter move back into the energy of Aries, and this is an interesting dynamic here because, first of all, it lights up your 6th house space, daily routines. Okay, so your schedule, your health, your wellness, your nutrition, how you care for yourself. I also put mental health and wellness in there, caring for someone else, being a caretaker, things with animals. All of that would have had an expansion for you in May when we saw Jupiter move into Aries. So these things start to get bigger. You start to feel like, I'm really going to take charge of my daily routine. I'm more confidently ready to move in this direction. I have wisdom to apply here. Then we saw Jupiter retrograde back into Pisces. So we had a break for a while, but now it's back. It's in the energy of Aries. And I will tell you, Scorpio, Jupiter is going to run through Aries. By the time we get to next May, we are going to see Jupiter move into the energy of Taurus, lighting up your relationship house. So while Jupiter's here in your 6th house, it is a great time for you to take on expansive opportunities, to share your wisdom, to initiate new projects, initiate a new daily routine. If you're a freelance person, to put out your work and share that with people so that they know there's an opportunity to work together. If you did want to buy the cat or the dog, this is a time to bring that into your life. If you need new health practitioners, go faithfully and confidently in the direction of what you would like to expand here, okay? Now, I'll tell you too, things to look out for. If your Jupiter energy in this area of your life is not well developed just yet, first of all, it's just not. Second of all, if it is in that growth stage, you may find yourself being really, really selfish, right? You may find yourself going, well, me, only I have the ideas. No, I can do what I want. There's no penalties. That is a negative expression or a growing expression of Jupiter in the energy of Aries. Now, as we get to the 21st, happy solstice, whichever one you are celebrating, winter or summer. So some of us, we got different lands going here. But whatever one you're celebrating, happy solstice. It is the change to the season as the sun moves into the energy of Capricorn. Now, to further celebrate this 3rd house business that you've got going on the 23rd, we have got a new moon at 1 degree of Capricorn as well. Your chance to plant your seeds of intention here, Scorpio. What do you want to begin? Where do you need to bring in discipline in your 3rd house? Where do you need to bring discipline into your communication? Where do you need to bring discipline or the government into a contract or an authority energy into a contract that you're signing? Are you buying something? Are you selling something? Are you studying? Are you teaching something? What is it that you had to revalue at the beginning of 2022 that now here at the end of 22 moving into 23, you are ready to take on a different level of responsibility for what you're outputting and what you're doing in this particular area? You become a resource. You take your seat at the table of the next level of maturity when we work with Capricorn energy. As we get to the 29th and we're closing out the month and the year, we see Mercury now step into its retrograde at that 24 degrees of Capricorn. So you're going to re-edit, review, reconsider, reunion, revise, recollect. You're going to go back over all of these things in your 3rd house, and it's very specifically, again, focus in on that 24 degrees of Capricorn to 8 degrees of Capricorn, okay? Now we're going to see Mercury come out of retrograde January 18th, but we'll see Mercury fully leave its post-retrograde shadow time on February 7th of 2023. Lots of review to do, lots of good things to see where you've made progress, and life is definitely different for you personally, especially based on your astrology. So let me know what's different, what's changed in your communication, and where are you ready to take on more responsibility with how you are using that big, beautiful voice, which is the most powerful gift and weapon that we've got at the same time. Let me know what that looks like for you in the comment section down below. I love you, Scorpio. Bye.